Hello, friends, and welcome back to another exciting Calrissian Cup. We are jumping into the Summer Minor, and I'm joined by, some absolute mad lads here. I got Uplink with me, a little hammer. Everyone, how are we feeling about today?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah.
It's like
Star Wars, man. Yeah! Star Wars!
That's the Star Wars energy. We had so much energy pre-show, vibing, getting ready, talking about everything. A lot of fun conversations, of course.
Long ties, you know?
Yeah, we're just looking at the bracket there, too. A lot of fun games going on today. We got, the game we're jumping with first is HUTT versus Race Squadron, which I think is going to be very epic. A lot to see there. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's going to be a fun match there. So, gentlemen, how we feeling? How we doing? How we thinking about the first matchup?
So, we've got HUTT versus Tempest, right? Tempest has had some roster rotations recently. This might be a bit of a toss-up. I think that this series will go to probably HUTT, because I think they have a more solid roster at the moment. I could be proven wrong, but that's where my brain is leaning right now.
Plus, they've been playing together a whole lot longer. Like you said, with the roster rotation, you need to find your groove with your teammates. So. But Uplink, I'd like to know your thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I'm excited to see what a HUTT Cartel brings to the table, and I think Tempest is one to watch as well. But looking forward to seeing what both of these teams do, considering the team mix-ups there, and what kind of loadouts they're going to be showing today.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We saw a lot of interesting stuff. It's been 2 months, I feel like, since we've done a last Cal Cup, or we missed a month, right? So I think last time we saw a lot of bombers, a lot of interesting rotations on ship loadouts as well. Let's dive into some of the other matches we're going to be seeing this morning. We got Cavern Angels versus Sabrip. We got the Randalorians versus Fracture, and then 16-bit Imperial versus Remnant Squadron. Let's get some thoughts and predictions on those matches there, gentlemen.
I'm so pumped to see Cavern Angels again.
After their twin sons, just domination.
They had an absolute monster of a showing at Twin Suns in that tournament, and I'm still reeling from the experience and the heart throb. Basically, like, my blood pressure was high. I had to use the restroom super bad, but the entire time I was like, I can't look away. I need to see what happens. And I'm super pumped to see if they bring that same energy into this tournament today.
I think we're going to see 16-bit versus probably randos in the semis. And we're probably going to see CA come up in their quarterfinal as well. I don't know what's going to happen past that, though. It all depends. CA might run to the finals, but in the other bracket, and that semifinal, I'd have no idea. If it was randos versus 16-bit, I do not know who would win that.
Both exciting matchups. Like, it's going to be an exciting morning regardless. It's Star Wars, baby. I'm pumped. I'm pretty amped about it. So, jumping into some other just fun questions for you guys while we wait for the first matchup to populate here. I'd really like to know who's your favorite Star Wars pilot and why? Who was it that made you go, wow, that's cool?
So, I'm a pretty simple guy. I like my
Rolls up
bombers.
his sleeves.
I like my Y-Wings and my B-Wings, and the first person we ever saw in Star Wars with a big old Y-Wing was Gold Leader, Vander. And I've always just loved the helmet, the ship. Don't really know much else about his character besides the fact that he flew a Y-Wing and Y-Wings are cool.
Is that one meme with Leonardo DiCaprio pointing?
So then I assume you, like, obviously you've seen Rogue One. Because, like, the same thing, they're in Rogue One, they do the same stuff there. It's really cool. I know what you mean. Like, I remember seeing that scene as a kid and just like, wow, that's so cool. Yeah. Oh boy, Star Wars. Uplink, how about you? Movies, games, books. Who was the pilot for you?
Nine Numb, man. The man, the myth, the legend, the guy that's in the background. Awesome starfighter pilot, flies the co-pilots the Millennium Falcon. We see him as a big mechanic in the extended universe with the book series. I love how he's in the background of things, and I think he's just a fantastic pilot. One of my favorites.
Nice. For me, it's someone not traditionally chosen. So mine's actually Dash Rendar. and it's because of his ship mostly. It's just like when you go back to Shadows of the Empire game and just like flying that ship there and like just the experience, the flight experience, the shooting experience, just the game experience with their ship was just like, to me, it was just so much fun. Definitely a moment I really look forward to playing that game, and I wish we got more. And I've always hyped myself up over the years saying, yes, we'll get him again. We'll get the Outrider again, because the Outrider is one of my favorite ships. So it's just it sounds weird. It's just the sound of the gun that gets me, and it's just the shape, just the design, because it's like an old Republic era ship that's been obviously modified and fixed to keep current gen. So that brings me to my next question. What would be your favorite Star Wars ship? I feel like Hammer, we might already know this. But what is your second favorite ship, Hammer, then, aside from the Y-Wing? Now that's a trick.
The other bomber, the B-Wing, of course.
Yeah, I was about I'm B-Wing all the way as well.
They're out of arm's reach, but I've got them both in their plastic toys that I had as a kid.
Oh, that's so cool.
Huh.
Did you just run around the house like with them going like
run down the stairs like you know,
bombing around on the cats and stuff? Your mom's like, "Stop that!" Or your dad,
terrorizing
"Stop
the
that!"
dogs.
There you go. Oh, I can see it now. Little Hammer running around with a Y-wing, dropping bombs.
Mustache and everything.
Mustache
yeah,
and everything, so.
You might tell today I'm a little naked, a little bald in the face.
You did an oops.
I did an oops while I was shaving. I kind of shaved my neckline and went bloop, and I tried to fix it, but it was just too patchy. So
that's why I'm afraid.
No mustache. Feel a
this
little
is at
weird.
risk at any moment having that issue. So I'm always like, no, we must be careful. We must be safe. Gotta be careful. I can finally braid this, which is exciting, to be honest, guys. So I'm just amped about it.
Goals, man.
How about you? What is your favorite ship?
B-Wing, man. B-Wing or the Scimitar.
Or the which one?
Scimitar, Darth Maul's ship.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that thing's cool.
That was my favorite Lego set. I never got it, but I always wanted to get it. That was the one I was like, oh, anytime I'd go into the store, I'd be like, oh.
My dad got me that Lego set for Christmas, but I was too young to understand how to put it together, so I never did, and I just threw all the Legos on the ground and just made
the privilege
things out
was
of
wasted
them.
on you.
I know.
Did you guys ever, speaking of Legos, like I had some Star Wars Lego growing up, and it was exciting, it was fun. I remember my first set being the Naboo Starfighter. Was there any moments with like Star Wars Lego that really stand out, aside from the amazing video games? Do you have a Star Wars Lego memory? Did you ever build any crazy ships and do battles with? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've siblings and cousins, so we used to build these ships on the weekends when we saw each other, and like I would like. The Lego, they had like these mats where you can like just build whatever you want on. So I just built these giant square ships with a bunch of Lego dudes and cannons, as we'll call them, and just like walk around the house going like, I've got a flying fortress. It's you can't hit me because it's a sun crusher. So good luck. And they're like, that's not fair. And they just like throw their ships at me, and it was ridiculous. So
yeah. So growing up, we were pretty poor, so like getting Lego sets was like a huge thing because they were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But the grandparents all came together, and they got me a, the ship that all of the droids come out of in Episode 1.
Yep.
The big brown one.
The lander.
Oh.
Yeah. They got me one of those, and that was like it was like 3,000 plus pieces, and I remember going to my grandma's house, and each time I'd visit, it'd be in a different state of building it, and it was like the biggest Lego set I'd ever built. It was so amazing.
Nice.
So speaking of landing, guys, I'm gonna land up and let you take the first match here. I will be back post-match to chat, hang out, and
nice.
Excellent.
All
Here
right.
we are.
We have got ourselves HUTT CARTEL versus TEMPEST. What is going on with these loadouts? Let me tell you guys what's going on. HUTT CARTEL, we got ourselves, one fighter, 2 defenders, a bomber, and a Reaper. The Reaper doing supply droid targeting beacon. Oh, and the game is going right in! TEMPEST, we do not know yet, but we'll find out. The map's going to be Gallatin, it looks like.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting choice here.
The map that gives and takes away, as always. Find a meteor, hits your face.
There is no safe landing here. No happy landings.
Oh, Happy Sunday,
Beautiful.
though. Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Oh, yeah, big shout out to Area Witch for doing some of these map rotations, these intros. Very good, very solid, as always, as we're getting ourselves into this lobby to begin this quarterfinal top 8 between
the
HUTT
chat,
Cartel
someone
and
says,
Tempest.
Who's that weak imitation of a little
I know,
hammer
I
replacing
gotta
him
let
right now?
the energy drink kick in. All right,
Mustache gone,
I
energy
know.
taken.
I've lost my power. Let's see what's going on with these teams, though. As we begin our approach, we do see the teams getting lined up for these AI. Let's see how they play it out, though. Let's see if Ekpyred and Chad on Tempest can find kills, or if Radiant and Spoony can get kills here. We do see a chaff going out on Trev. Radiant Prime flying in, trying to get a confirmed kill out here. Interesting stuff. Meanwhile, their AI on Tempest are slowly being refound, but Ion goes out on Chad, getting bonked, getting punished. There he goes. He goes down. It's a 3v5 out here. Tempest struggling to be able to make some ground.
Ooh, can he get it?
Ooh, let's see. Morale going back towards HUTT Cartel as they're able to maintain this pressure. Liven is down, so is Spoony as well. It is quite a slugfest of an opener. Let's see what's going on. A lot of chaos out here in Gallatin, the first game of the day.
And one of the big issues with Gallatin is those asteroids. As soon as you feel like you're safe, boom.
Oh yeah.
You're not careful,
Boost into 'em.
it can take you right out.
All right. Meanwhile, though, HUTT Cartel struggling to be able to keep their morale majority as it goes down to 15 seconds. We do see Tempest being able to find those AI, get solid pressure on the Bombers as Sheriff is super weak, not able to stay alive out here. 2 more AI and the flip will happen. We do see possible nuking of Radiant Prime from Chua, knocking him out of the sky, giving Tempest the first push on Gallatin. And let's see how they run this cruiser assault. Again, who has ions out here? That's the big question. We do see actually Ekpyred coming out with some ion dump fires, immediately dumping into Delta, taking down the shields almost entirely. Looks like they're gonna go for a hard push into Delta. Shields are down. Ekpyred staying alive as best as possible. We do see the Invises coming out on their support. Meanwhile, pretty solid plays so far. You know, the morale is staying pretty stagnant as HUTT's struggling to find any AI, as Tempest is pretty aggressively shutting down their AI farmers. But speak too soon as Precursor Chad gets knocked out of the sky from an ion dunk. Meanwhile, Ekpyred just doing solid objective damage. Again, HUTT struggling to be able to find any AI, and as every second goes on, you know, Delta just begins to fall and fall. It's now at 52-51, falls below half, going for a 1 Raider burn here, but a few AI stacks are being found by HUTT Cartel, bringing the morale back in their favor. But every second that goes on with this beacon to cruiser, the likelihood of being able to have a out-of-phase, ooh, Maticus getting ion and running into the cruiser. Not a good sight. There's the flip. I don't know if the cruiser's out-of-phaseable. That was pretty preferable for HUTT. Can they capitalize on this flip? We'll see.
Oh, so they're getting ready. Prepping for the attack on those C and D frigates there.
Yeah, we do see the Sheriff coming in, lining up, getting some rotaries down, instead of going hard ion, just doing pure damage. Again, it's a lot of this is for not going back to base, switching out ships, though an ion does come out on Sheriff, not overly punished for it, though.
No, he
able
isn't.
to live and survive. Might have been due to the terrain of Gallatin.
Couldn't get a clear hit on him.
Yeah, good RNG. Solid
Oh
rotary
my
coming
gosh,
out.
just going ham on that frigate there.
Ooh.
But he
with
does
Liven,
get taken out.
Yeah, Liven down, Sheriff down. That's 20 points going back to Tempest. And again, the quicker that Tempest can shut this down, the quicker that they'll be able to come in and just nuke on the cruisers. Because the thing they don't want right now is they don't want C or D getting out of phaseable. That's pretty much a solid win condition. So it all depends if, more player kills coming out. Spoony does fall. Radiant's still dead. A few more AI. And unlike, maps like Nadiri, AI are farmable on this map. Albeit a little bit harder, but not impossible. There's the flip. An ion dunk on Stardude. But a repair comes out in the nick of time. Meanwhile, back on Tempest on this assault. Delta looking very super weak. Charlie still has a bit of shields on it, but of course they're going to be saving Delta until they need to nuke it out of the sky. Meanwhile, Ek getting shot, Ek getting punished. Chua switching out, Ek dead, 3v5. Trev trying to survive best he can. Trev has been marked though, no countermeasures can happen. Luckily there's not too much aggro on him. We do see the ions did come out on Charlie, now it's just a pure damage race. Again, morale is pretty strongly held by Tempest at this moment. A pretty straightforward push. We do see Maticus coming in, getting those burst cannons down on that X-Wing. See if he can get some overcharge, coming back in, getting another rotation. Again, saving Delta until they really have to burn it down. No point in wasting those 15 points right now until really needed. They got lucky, too, with their Corvette placement, because the Corvette is on Charlie right now. That can be a bit of a hit or miss, right? If the Corvette decided to go towards Delta, it would have immediately wasted those 15 points. But now, the odds are in their favor. Delta does
get taken out.
Yeah. All that is left now is Charlie. The morale is getting pretty low. The question is if they're going to save it for the out of phase, because their Corvette is still up, right? Or are they... I think the Corvette, I believe, is down. That is a misspeak from me. Looks like they're going to possibly go for it, though. Knock Charlie out of the sky.
Interesting choice here.
Yeah. With a morale bar at half and half, but being dwindled, this is going to be a pretty hard push for Tempest to be able to capitalize on. They've got a very short window, and as you can see, Maticus Reskic is already flying in there with the rest of his team all at the nose. But an ion dunk does happen. Maticus is down. Chad's in there. They're ioning the shields. A bit of a boost. Can they get it? Left shield getting nuked into. It's been ioned. It's at half hull. We do see, but Chad also getting ion bumps into it, and the flip does happen. Left shield almost dead. Can one of them rotate before the DPS comes in? Chua trying to get in there, but Chua does die. Gets punished for it. Ouch.
They tried.
Well,
so that was an interesting choice there on Tempest's side there. They decided to go for the extra morale push with taking down C, but it didn't really pay off for what they wanted to do, though they did get the shield generator quite low.
Yes. It's a bit of a gamble, right? Because the morale was high enough where they really couldn't wait it out, right? Because I mean, they could, but it'd be a struggle. It wasn't low enough to have a good reposition. So they basically were forced with that morale bar percentage to have a push. Luckily, I mean, they didn't knock out the shield, but that shield is essentially at 10% or below. But it gives HUTT this opportunity here because it gives them another defense phase, in theory, if they have good defenses here, to be able to bring back the momentum of this game. And they're doing that exactly right now, right? C's pretty weak, Delta's pretty weak. We do see them coming in. We see a little bit of a ion on the Sheriff. But again, well, never say never, does get punished, knocked out of the sky, rest in pieces. Well, there goes Delta. Charlie will fall soon, too. Now the M655 push begins. And again, it all depends on how fast they can get in there and get some damage down. We do see two of them going in right now. We see Radiant Prime going into that shield gen. Flies in, gets under Spoony, also under his level, gets punished. One shield gen down to 43. They're both going for that left shield gen. Will Radiant be able to get a second approach, or is he going to have to peel? Again, the shields are at half. The hole is at half. Looks like one of them is in as well. They looks like they do get the left shield gen. We do hear that go and get popped off. Solid play.
There's the switch. There's the switch. But what will HUTT Cartel do? Will they go back, or will they try to capitalize? Radiant Prime just goes.
They get that right shield gen at the last second before the DPS of the MC-75 comes in and just dominates, destroys their ship. Too little, too late though. They get two shield gens on that flagship, actually getting them in a really solid position to nuke power if they have a solid defense here and try to knock the MC-75 out on their next offensive phase, putting Tempest kind of in a hot spot here. They need to knock out these shield gens immediately, and to get down this ISD to out of phaseable, or they're going to have a tough time. We do see the right shield gen does fall. And they're going for the second shield gen, ioning into it. The shield has been disabled. It'll be straight runs for the rest of the team coming in. Can they get it? Again, they have full morale. Weak points have been made on the hull. It all depends on how quickly they can knock this down. If they either have to completely destroy this flagship or get it out of phaseable. We do see Maticus finds a weak point. Chad finds a weak point as well. At least 2 of the 5 weak points have been destroyed. We do see Maticus finds another weak point on the top of the ISD, knocks it out of the sky at 7.5%.
I was literally just about to say that their morale is really good, and as soon as I was going to say so, it started to drop.
But it's definitely out of phaseable now. What Tempest would have wanted here. Ion does go out on Chad with no shields left in 51 hull. He's going to get knocked out of the sky. Not the flip
almost
just
made
yet.
it.
Shua engine parking will possibly get it. And does in fact get it. Making game 1 go to Gray Squadron Tempest.
Very nice showing from Gray Tempest there. HUTT Cartel, while they did have a very strong defense, they weren't able to really capitalize on it too much, and Gray Tempest said, hey, we've got to take it all the way in this position right now, or we won't make it to the end.
Yeah. Looking at the scoreboard, we got ourselves Stardew 10, 2, 13K, the Sheriff 1, 3, 25 AI, Liven 0, 3, 17K, Spoonie 2, 3, 19. Solid stuff, Chua with 17 AI, Maticus with 26, 39K on his cap ship damage. Solid plays. It all came down to that last defense, in my opinion. They had a struggle of the first offense, but they were able to capitalize on that second.
Yeah, we're seeing these players, veterans almost at this point, coming in and just showing out what they can do and what they can accomplish. If you mess up just slightly early on, they can take it all the way.
Oh yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on what we just witnessed there?
It's as you said, right? These players have been playing since launch, and in reality, while it's not really been a while in actual time, in game time, it's been a while, right? Players are now getting to refinement phases, figuring out what doesn't work, and iterating on it. And I think we're seeing teams with solid meta understanding, meta play, iterating and looking for mistakes on the enemy's team, right? I think that it definitely got sweaty there for a second, as there was a hard choice to be made as HUTT comes in, takes out both shields, and put Tempest in the spot where they needed to come in, knock down the one shield gen, disable the other, and get down all the hull in one push and not die too quickly. Luckily, they were able to time it out just perfectly to not have to worry about an out-of-phase base race. Yeah, solid stuff.
Yeah. If they didn't have... Let's see, if Tempest didn't take it all the way there, HUTT and Cartel would have finished them off in the next round. They were set up perfectly for it. So Tempest saw that opportunity and we're like, okay, time to go.
Makes me wonder what's going to happen in game number 2.
I wonder if we'll see some shifts in what each of these teams' loadouts will be, what the map is going to be, as well as what are the sides each of these teams will be choosing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if HUTT will... maybe reconsider having ions on their ships to be able to get that faster ion burn, because the game comes down to the speed of getting down those cruisers and frigates, and they might decide they want a faster burn, which includes shield stripping. So we'll see.
Definitely. A New Republic win too. We're seeing a lot more of those now.
It's great to see. Fills my heart with joy. We're not in the Oops All Empire stage of the game anymore.
Yeah, we're starting to see more of a balance and almost more of a lean towards the New Republic victories now. Would you agree?
I think that's a hard
high level play.
I think the game. I don't know. It's very close to half and half, right? My brain still sits like 65 or like 60-40, 65-45. In an Empire favor, but it might be, you're right, it might be leaning more towards New Republic wins as the time goes on and players just start getting better with those ships, especially with the final buffs to the X-Wing and the Y-Wing.
Yeah, we're seeing it's more of like it's almost they made those changes to where if you are a talented team, you can take New Republic to the better of the two. It's just one of those situations where maybe the baseline level of the Empire could be perceived as better than the New Republic, but with the higher level play and the people getting used to what the quirks are of the New Republic, we're going to see more of those people. Like, I mean, yeah, it may be easier to get an Empire win, but it takes that skill, the little extra effort, a little more of a challenge to pull it out with the New Republic. So I think that's why we're going to see a lot more of that. But who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong, and later on we're going to see a fight for the Empire there.
I don't know. I do think, to your point though, right? Like this more solid play. There's the belief, and I believe it too. Like the longer a game goes out, the more likely an NR win is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was way more that when the Empire was more broken, right? Where it's like a New Republic win came down to how many times the Empire screwed up per se.
Yeah.
But based on the way the ISD ship works and the way your assaults end up working, you lengthen out that push and you end up winning.
Mm-hmm. As long as you can survive and make sure that the Empire doesn't take you out, usually, if you are a talented team, you can take away that victory.
Oh man! So while we're waiting to get this lobby up, Uplink, you were telling me about E3. I've been living under a rock. So
you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy with things that aren't fun video games. So what all happened? Right, there was you were telling me thing Ubisoft.
Yeah. So Ubisoft had their I think it was yesterday. They had their big event, and they were showing off some of the stuff that they've got coming in the future. One of which was the gorgeous Avatar game, which was the title of one of the articles. The Avatar, not the really cool Avatar that came out of Nickelodeon. That is fantastic.
Not the Airbender one?
No, not the Airbender. The Blue People Avatar. That game got the first trailer for it. So it'd been announced quite some time ago, and now we're seeing some of the in-engine footage. And my goodness, I think it's the Snowdrop engine that they're using.
Ooh.
Goodness gracious, is that engine gorgeous?
I need to go watch some videos because I have not seen it. I have not heard of James Cameron's Avatar since
right
2009.
Yeah, when it came out.
The 3D glasses and all that jazz. It was cool. It was cool. Blew my mind. Now I have double vision and I literally can't watch those films anymore. But it was cool when I could.
I think Ian Fraser was talking about this on Twitter. It's are there really hardcore Avatar fans the way that there are Star Wars fans? And I would be curious to know. Chat, are you guys in chat huge hardcore Avatar
stands?
James Cameron Avatar stands?
I don't even know the name of the characters. We stan Avatar.
Yeah, blue people.
We stan blue people. I'm blue. Badu Bida Buba.
Unobtainium, I think, is the thing that they're looking for. And then they have the Mario and Rabbids sequel, which is planned for 2022.
Oh, it's Mario and Rabbids? Oh,
yeah,
that's a
Mario
fun game.
and Rabbids, right? So it's going to get a sequel, which is fair because it was such a fantastic showing. It was an almost overnight success. People really, really enjoyed that game. We got a new trailer for Far Cry 6, which is looking really good. Giancarlo Esposito is a legend, and I can't wait to see what his character is looking like. But there's a lot of showing there. Sadly, nothing around the Ubisoft Star Wars game, which I wasn't expecting, but I was hoping that they would show. But it's still pretty early development on that. I would assume that they started development with the announcement, a full-on development. I would assume they got all the legal stuff first, and then they got the announcement out there, and then they're like, okay, let's start working on this. So the Star Wars open world game made by Ubisoft is actually made by the same developers that are making the Avatar game.
Interesting.
Yeah. What is it, Avalanche Studios or... I can't remember. What is it?
Somebody somewhere.
Yeah, Massive is the name of the studio. Massive.
Nice.
So they're working on both of those gigantic games. So it may be a while if the team's quite small before we even get a proper look at that Star Wars game.
I'm excited for when that comes, though. I can't complain. We've had a bit of a decade of drought in Star Wars games. This game being a shining, a light in the darkness. This is what Fallen Order and Battlefront 2. Once they figure it out,
what they were doing,
yeah. Look at these loadouts. So 50 seconds ago, let me just pull both of them up so I can get a good grasp of what's going to go on in this game here. We've got ourselves the Reaper on the Empire's running supply droid targeting beacon. They've got the one bomber, rotary cannon, multi-lac Goliath, 2 defenders with ion missile rockets, and the fighter with repair ion missile. Then on Tempest, we've got the U with squadron mask and targeting beacons, 2 Y-wings, 2 bombers with ICT multi-lock and Goliath multi-lock. Chua being the ICT multi-lock and be a little more of a PK focus there. As the Y-Wing, it's weird how the Empire New Republic ends up playing in more recent time with these players. You have a bit of an inverse on the Empire versus the New Republic, where on the New Republic, you have your hard objective ship is actually the X-Wing, and your flex ship of PK and objective damage becomes the Y-Wing, due to its maneuverability and ICT being a shutdown for the Empire, specifically for the defenders. And on the Empire, your hard objective ship is the TIE Bomber, the highest DPS of the game, and your flex comes out in the defender and the fighters instead. So it's a neat little asymmetry in how the factions end up playing out. That's why we see Y-wings with the ICT, right? That's like the I'm gonna oopsie you, disable you, then dunk you, right? And that's an exclusive auxiliary for the Y-Wing. Which, a fun fact, the name ICT is not in Squadrons. That comes from the Armada game, I believe. Though I've never played it. I think people have told me that, though.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's called, I'm such a... it's called something! Brain is dead as we get into game number 2. In the top 8, Tempest versus HUTT Cartel. Tempest taking game number 1. Can they make lightning strike twice? Will they play it smooth on Sisubo out here? Or will HUTT Cartel say, you won 1, you're not going to win number 2, and come out and destroy? Let's see how it goes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but we're seeing basically the same sides, right? They didn't change factions?
It does not look like it. Looks like it's going to be Tempest on NR again, choosing this faction for this map. And HUTT staying on Empire again. This is not a usual thing we have seen in previous tourneys where players actively choose the faction they played better at. Goes to show the balance of this game is getting closer and closer to half and half, where it comes down to preference and ability.
As well as a very similar map too. You got the debris on this one, and you had the asteroids in the other one. So we're seeing a good focus on, they want to be able to hide around things floating in the space.
Yeah, break missile locks.
Yeah, exactly. Want to be a little more secretive with their movement there.
Ooh, we do see Chua struggling, ends up hitting. Oh no, Chua's stuck in the terrain of Sisubo. Able to get out, however. Looks like as we go into this coin, from 30 seconds to go, it's turning into a bit of a slugfest again. But Tempest being able to find these AI. Again, this might come down to the fact that HUTT Cartel only has 1 bomber. They're not able to keep up. Essentially, I think what their gambit came down to is, can we aggro the bombers so hard on Tempest they're not going to be able to AI farm? Meanwhile, having 1 AI farmer, and we're able to outpace them due to our aggro. But I think it kind of backfired, as they're not able to aggro these AI farmers enough, and as the phase does end, Tempest does get the victory here, pushing into an attack phase out of coin flip. Chua going back to base, Trev still sitting out there. Let's see who has ions and where they're going. Matic is going back to base as well, having a bit of a hard reset. Ekfired looks like is going to be the one that's going to fly out, possibly get an ion off on this cruiser within 700. Does fly in, gets the rocket, starts firing those dumbs off. gets the shields on Delta around half and begins to drain them completely. There they go. Delta shields have been drained. The morale is still very much in Tempest's favor. Beacons are out, however. Countermeasures are gone on Ek, but nobody's really aggroing Ek to the point where we hear missile locks or anything of the sort, as burst cannons are able to come down and knock this cruiser out of the sky. Shields on C are around half as well. Looks like they're going for a bit of a split push. Chad is dead. Maticus on this cruiser as well. A little bit of aggro from Stardude in that fighter, but not slowing down. The morale's around half and half now, as HUTT's able to make up some ground with AI. They do get down the Corvette. That is pretty big. A few more AI. There is the flip as Trev does fall. I don't believe that either Charlie or Delta were out of phaseable here. So, again, it comes down to, can HUTT capitalize on the fact that they were able to prevent a shortened attack phase due to out of phasing of the cruisers and get down these frigates to out of phasing so they can shut down the next Tempest offense, right? We do see the Sheriff coming in. Looks like they're going to commit to the no ion, getting some rotary cannons down on this frigate. Interesting stuff. As they drain the shields on D, it has been weakened. Sheriff now down to 16, though desperately needs some sort of refuel supply. It's not going to happen because look at the loadout, or the comp. There is no support currently on HUTT, sacrificing a support for raw DPS. Because again, as you can see from these players, being able to go back to these cruisers that weren't out of phased essentially is a slower but a viable resupply in this game. Taking down Delta, though, the morale still sits pretty comfortably. You know, they haven't taken down the Raider yet. That still is up. Raider has been beaconed, however, but too little too late, as Delta's definitely out of phaseable. Going to then rotate over to Charlie, try to take down Charlie as much as they can before
very nice strategy here.
Yeah. This is going to be a bit of a blow for Tempest going on to their next phase, because that's 15 points of morale they aren't going to have to get down these cruisers and frigates.
Okay, we see Live in here going back to the ship. Make sure that they're prepped for a good defense.
Yeah.
As well as restocking there.
Back into base, we'll see now somebody on HUTT Cartel go in and get that out of phase. Stardew's going back to base. Spoonie's still out mid. Where is that out of phaser? Interesting stuff. Well, as we go back to Tempest, only Delta does remain. Let's see how they played. Again, no shields left, so it's time for some pure damage from these X-Wings coming out. Precursor Chad, though, getting nuked and knocked out of the sky. That is a 4v5 on the approach. Ek is currently out there getting some damage as well. Solid plays. Again, getting the Delta will most certainly fall unless there's some crazy player kills that are going to happen in this game. We do see Maticus, though, getting Ion, getting tracked, and getting nuked out of the sky. Rest in pieces. It is now a 4v5 on this push.
There's one of those player kills. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Yeah.
But it's looking like a good attack on D there.
Corvette is still up, too. That's 20 points that we can see these TIE bombers start to nuke into. It'll be a weird spot if HUTT can get a few player kills. That Corvette does fall. Delta's definitely out of phaseable. It all depends, again, if Tempest wants to have a assault phase here that's very short and try to, like, synchronize sort of shield gen push, or if they're going to save it for their
they're going to have
defense. To. Yeah, and there goes the flip. And there goes the out of phase. Like clockwork. But again,
they had it so close when it flipped, too, that basically the moment it flipped, it got destroyed.
Solid plays out here. Now we go back to HUTT, who is trying to quickly get down this Nebulon B, get those 15 points back without having to worry about any aggressive AI farming from Team Tempest. Let's see how they play it out. Again, Charlie below half. HUTT going back to base. Radiant Prime trying to target on to Chua. Liven getting Beacon and knocking this Nebulon down. This Nebulon is at 17-13. It's going to fall relatively quickly out here. It's now below 10, and they will begin their MC75 push with only about a half morale bar. But again, momentum is key. Liven immediately knocking down the Nebulon, flying into the shields. Liven now popping under the shield, starts burst cannoning away. Has a bit of a park, gets that shield gen down to 65. Has the room to have one more push because he got in there quick enough. Starts dumping into it as well. Shields are still up. He's a little bit of aggro. That shield comes down to 17, however. One more push from Liven, and it will knock down anybody on that team. That shield has been destroyed. Right shield looking very weak as well. Both shield gens have fallen on the MC75. Can they get power? That would be absolutely massive because they're going to go for a little bit of a targeting push. Liven starts dumping into it. Targeting does fall as well. 3 subsystems. And there's the flip. I'm not seeing any ion damage coming out from HUTT Cartel while they have the DPS on the MC75 not killing them. It does look like
such
they've all
a
backed
great
off.
run there. Set themselves up very well for the next round. If they can get to it.
They've got a position where Tempest has to win here.
Pretty much, yeah.
If
Again.
Yeah. The MC75 is not out of physical. They have to get the ISD either completely destroyed in a 1 phase, or they have to get it nearly out of phaseable by parking behind engines. And it all depends. We do see a chaff going out on Maticus Rex, getting knocked out of the sky due to not having any countermeasures left. We do see, though, however, one shield has been disabled on the ISD, but losing morale by the second. Both shields have been disabled. Can they capitalize on this? Power's hitting Ion currently. Gets knocked out. Power is dead. Can they knock out these shield gens before flip, though, to be able to get solid out-of-phase potential? We do see weak points have been made. A few on the bottom. Tractor beam out on Chad. Chad needs to live here. They don't want to lose that 10 points. 82 hull. Trying to desperately get out of that. Does, in fact, starts knocking down some damage. We do see solid hull. They, however, do lose their Corvette. One more player kills 2 more AI, and it'll flip back towards HUTT Cartel.
Oh, there goes the flip. Whew. Almost. If they had been able to dedicate a little bit more time in phase, I think they could have been able to out of phase it. But they're trying.
Yeah, it's at 29. It's definitely out of phaseable territory. The hard part is that the shield gens are going to be back up, which means they're basically left with piercing, right? Interesting stuff. It's going to be a bit of a base race, but I do think that the it is definitely within HUTT's favor here to win this game, as those shields are not destroyed, making it out of phase super difficult because the shields are back up, right? Chad does fall, Maticus does fall. They're trying to get the shields back down on the ISD. We do see Expired running out an Ion on the hull, but too little too late. They're all dying out there. Leaving the MC75 open just for pure damage. Radiant in here just getting the first down and
going
taking
ham on it and takes it down.
HUTT taking game number 2, making this a 1-1 best of 3. Tempest not able to out of phase this ISD, having to deal with those shields, costing them precious time.
42 AI kills there on Maticus, 14 on Chua, and then 1 with Chad. So we had a good showing for the AI kills there, and then we see HUTT with quite a bit of player kills.
Yeah, 102k cap ship damage on Sheriff. That's a big number.
Goodness gracious.
Nice. All right, with HUTT winning game number 2 and Tempest winning game number 1, we're going to be dragging this out into a 3-game series in this top 8. Fun stuff.
We saw basically the same game with a different endpoint. We saw them try out the same strategies that they were doing in the first round, but we saw HUTT Cartel being able to take it all of the way with the strategy that they tried to do on the first match there.
I think the deciding factor there was not knocking out the shields on the ISD when the morale was around 25% left. Because at that point, if your hull is, around 30, 40, you know that you're not going to be able to do that damage without, all 5 weak points up in the period of the 25% morale. You're going to have to quickly rotate and say, okay, well, now we need to just get down these gens because we need to get down these gens and position ourselves behind the ISD to be able to get out these Goliaths, the lasers and the damage to be able to base race them. What we saw happen there was the flip happened, the shields came back up, and Tempest, well, you watched the whole entire team come in. They were all firing their ions just at the ISD, trying to get the shields back down because they were disabled for a while during that phase, but they came back up when the flip happened. And just were not able to get down quick enough. They got it down, but they knocked the ISD down from 29 to 27 in the time that HUTT was able to come in and knock that MC70 75 down from like 57 to 0,
Yeah, it was a key mistake for them. Like you said, if they had been able to take down those shield generators and they didn't pop back up, I think we would be saying, "Oh, congrats to Tempest" right now. But I think I'm very interested to see what this next round is going to be looking like. Any predictions?
Man, that's hard, right? Because I would have assumed based on the first game performance, Tempest was going to 2-0. But then we see a bit of a goof and a bit of a stumble in game 2, giving the game to HUTT. I don't know. I do not know. My original prediction was HUTT, right? So
yeah,
we will see if that will come true.
We're questioning everything right now.
Right? My sense of reality gone.
Everything we once know is now gone. Yeah, looking forward to seeing. I wonder if they're both happy with the choices that they have on the factions. I think why change anything? But also because they're so well equipped on those specific factions. If I was in that position, I almost may be like, okay, we may not be able to. We're going to be back and forth if we keep with these factions, so we may try to switch that up in this next round. But who knows if they're going to be, because both teams would have to decide that.
What's interesting right now too is that because the game's getting so close to half and half balance, is that map pick decides faction pick a lot of the time. Where there's a good post, I think like Nop or Brunus or somebody on Splinter made on the subreddit basically describing Splinter's strategy for faction pick and map pick in tandem, right? Where there's like a good sliding scale, albeit Xavion's kind of now banned from everything because of an AI discrepancy. I guess if you guys haven't heard, it was discovered on Xavion Abyss that on the Empire you just have 2 less AI at any given moment than when you're on New Republic and you're farming AI, just due to a possible bug of sorts.
Interesting.
So in certain circles, and again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in Cal too, Xavion ends up getting out of the rotation because it's an obvious pick to if you're stuck with Xavion, you want to pick New Republic versus Empire.
Okay, because you have that AI advantage.
Yeah, you end up just spending less time on defense, just objectively in pure numbers due to that.
Fascinating. We wouldn't know unless we were at such a high level of skill that we are right now.
If people just didn't start dissecting the game at every possible corner. I do
to the
love
point
it,
of making it a formula. Like, okay, this map equals this faction choice. This faction choice equals this map. Like, it's wild that we're at that point now. So it's really fun to see.
Looks like lobby is up. Gonna get my observers in here, and then we can get into game number 3. Again, Tempest winning game number 1. HUTT Cartel winning game number 2. As we're going to get to a best of 3. Game number 3.
Let's see. This will be the deciding game on who will move on in this tournament. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their loadouts will be and what factions as well as which map they're going to be on too. I think it's going to be exciting. I love it when they push it to a 3 because we don't know what's going to be happening. Like, their strategy could be the same. Their strategy could be completely different. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams will be looking at.
Well, the map is going to be Phostar Haven, I can tell you that. And the factions are actually going to be flipped. It's going to be Tempest on Galactic Empire, and it's going to be HUTT on New Republic. That does position, in my opinion, Tempest to win, because Galactic Empire on Fostar is pretty strong due to just the way the map is shaped and the DPS from the TIE Bomber. But I could be proven wrong. Mistakes do happen in games, and if things get whiffed, then never say never.
Yeah.
But the Fostar, Nadiri, maps like that, specifically those two maps, though, however, they're definitely ruthless AI maps where you have pretty decent AI farm in the beginning, in that opening phase, that coin flip, the what have you. But coming out of that opening phase, you struggle to find any AI, and you're stuck relying on player kills. You're stuck relying on the Raider burn or the Corvette burn, and due to the way that Empire plays, due to boost on boosting, it does put favorability for survivability somewhat in Empire's favor if they win that coin flip to get a lot of damage down on those frigates, on those Nebula MPs.
Yeah. Interesting. I love it that we're at this level where we can dissect the game at this point.
Or rip it apart.
Basically rip it apart. Do something that the devs never would have thought, and only the devs really know. Nice elbow there.
Yeah, I can. Oh dang! I was hoping I can We're so close, but so far apart.
I've never felt closer. If only you had your mustache and I could stroke it.
I know. Oh man. I mentioned this earlier, and I'm gonna repeat myself, Chad. But yesterday, as we're waiting for the lobby to come up, I'm just kind of blabbing. But yesterday, I was shaving the neckline. I was trying to grow out an actual beard. And if any of you guys grow facial hair, he's shaving the neckline, and I was using one of those electric trimmers or whatever, and I went right up my face, and I was like, oh no, I can't fix this. I tried to fix it, but clearly just a line went up my face, and I bit the bullet, I accepted it, and just kind of shaved everything back down. So shaved hammer. I don't have the mustache. It's big Sag, but try to survive, guys. We'll get through this. And then a month later, it should be back. It grows pretty fast.
Okay.
With a little bit of time.
Gotta bring back the stash, man.
Where's that stash? Looking at these loadouts real quick to be able to get a good sense of what's going on here. On Tempest, we got ourselves the support has supply droid targeting beacon, 2 defenders, 2 bombers, no fighters, multi-lock beam on Shua, and multi-lock Goliath on Maticus. The defenders with APS, ion missile, and ion missile APS. And on HUTT Cartel, the support has supply targeting with 2 Y-Wings, ICT, automatic ion cannon, Goliath missile on Radiant Prime, and HUTT, the Sheriff with multi-lock Goliath, the X-Wing with ion missile rockets, and Star Dude with an A-Wing. A little bit of a throwback there with the Interceptors running ion rockets and rockets double dumbs with nimble deflector, thrust engine, dampener, hull, standard lasers. That is interesting. We don't see too much AI or A-Wing anymore, just due to the way the ship is balanced and due to the raw maneuverability and DPS coming out of X-Wings and Y-Wings, right? But it's always good to see.
That beautiful, beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite shots. Oh my gosh. Good pan over to the dwarf sun, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I think so.
Not too sure. As we get in the game, let's see how these teams play. Quick question. Okay, the teams are in here. We had a bit of a communication. We should be good to go, though. Going into game number 3, the game that decides who's going to be going to the semifinal. Is it going to be Grey Squadron Tempest, or is it going to be HUTT Cartel? Again, this opening coin flip does decide a lot on Fostar Haven. Shua lining up for some AI. Maticus lining up for some AI as well. Radiant Prime on the Y-Wing. Looking for an ICT, some destruction on Chad. We do see a player kill immediately come out. The Sheriff does fall, giving Tempest almost an immediate win on Empire on a coin flip here. Chad does fall, however. Can they capitalize on this opening phase? I believe they will, but again, never say never. Don't want to call people out or call it until it is done. Ion's coming out. Empire does fire an Ion into Charlie. Does connect, getting it down quite a bit.
Oh, nice. Going for those They'll be AI kills, correct? They're going for right now.
Yeah. We do see Ek getting continuous damage. We do see a little bit of AI being found by HUTT Cartel. But again, the morale sits relatively stagnant due to the way Fostar does work, but Tempest struggling to get in there and get those ions down, get that damage confirmed. Trev almost dead. No shields left, or very little at 13 hull, trying to play defensively to not end up feeding 10 points. Precursor Chad in here, though, getting down that blast burst damage. Gets down an ion as well. Charlie's shields have been stripped completely. Delta's around half. Player kill does happen. Maticus does fall. Trev stays alive. Skin of Teeth gets back to that resupply. Ooh, ouch. Solid AI stack being found by HUTT Cartel. A few more AI. And the flip does happen. Neither one of those frigates are out of phasable. Definitely a nice thing if you're HUTT 2C. Star Dude surviving. Let's see how HUTT Cartel plays it out. We do see Lemming with very little in his auxiliary tank. Living going back for a resupply underneath the frigate. Ooh, Radiant Prime getting Ion, getting dunked out of the sky. A player kill immediately into this attack phase. Ion's being dumped on these cruisers, though. Lemming have a bit of a
Lemming is down as well. They're working on the shields on C here. They're down 2. Let's see what they can do to bring it back up here.
Yeah. Ooh, a bit of a bummer. My obs have a bug. We're going to be watching the game raw now. Let's see how it goes for the Sheriff getting dunked out of the sky. Almost at 7, 10, 12 hull. Does fall, in fact, giving 10 points back towards Tempest. Meanwhile, we do see Radiant Prime coming in, getting down this damage on this cruiser down to 71. Down to 69, continuing to fall. Nice. Ions coming out. Delta losing shields. Ooh, a dunk on Radiant Prime, though, but not going to get overly punished for it at 93 hull. Able to get out and survive. The phase is nearing end, though. Neither one of these cruisers are out of phasable. One more AI, and it'll go back to Tempest. Let's see how they play.
Very nice. Both a lot of back and forth here. Fostar Havens is a little bit of a tricky map to find the AI and just how it's laid out. Very vertical.
Yeah. Chewie getting the resupply, gets back out. That rotary on Stardude trying to knock him out of the sky. Gets Stardude out of the sky at the beginning of the phase. Let's see if they can capitalize. Again, no shields left. We do see a beam coming out on Shula right into Charlie.
Very nice. It's a hard one to land, but it's pretty... As long as no one starts targeting you while you're loading that up, it's a lot easier to land on those frigates than it is to get on a player there.
Yeah, Chua still surviving, though. Getting ioned, but not, again,
not punished for it.
Ooh, but getting tracked by that support by Liven.
Oh.
But living, using the throttle correctly, trying to get another beam out, but cannot get eyes on target. C and D looking very weak at 5 at 3 hold. Chua does fall, in fact. But Delta falling as well. Charlie looking very weak, very tasty. Interesting stuff out here. Lemming does knock Trev out of the sky. As they're going for getting this frigate down. They get that frigate down. Ekpire ducks out of the sky. The M75 with a full morale bar assault begins now. They still have Raider, which is nice. Let's see if they can capitalize on that. Ekpire comes in, trying to get to that shield gen. Begins the rotation. Once again, under shields. Trying to get eyes on target. Goes for the opposite side shield gen. Starts burst canning into it. Gets the ion on it. Tries to disable it. I believe it is completely disabled now.
Beautiful maneuverability there from Ekpire.
You'll love
Still
to
going.
see it. Not dying, using the drift of the defender to survive against the MC-75's DPS. A possible power nuke is happening here. Ions are going off. Power does fall. Right shield is down as well. Only left shield and targeting remain. Morale's being lost by the second, though. It's Ek looking very weak. Tries to get some more damage down. A little bit of a bonk. 3 hull left. Is going to almost bonk himself to death.
Oh, the MC-75, they're doing some good damage on it. Oh. Trying to get some hits off on that. There, very nice. Will he be able to survive? Oh, they've got 2 down on Grey Tempest there. Lemming and Radiant Prime are going back to resupply, heal up. We're seeing, let's see here, 2 X-Wings, a support, a bomber, and an A-Wing on the HUTT Cartel side. We're seeing 2 defenders, 2 bombers, and a support on the Grey Tempest side as well here.
Let's see how they play it out. That light cruiser now down to 44. Running in there trying to get some damage down. At 36, it has been beaconed. The Sheriff coming in, getting continual rotary down again on the MC-75, right? Power's down, right shield gen's down, but left shield is still up. Going to mean that when the Raider comes in on flip, on offense, going to be not really doing much until that shield gen gets nuked out of the sky. If HUTT Cartel can take down Charlie quickly without having a death. Ooh, but say too soon as they lose their Raider, allowing for Tempest to go back on the offense. On that M75 with 1 shield and no power. The weak points have been made. We just saw 2 of them there as the camera did pan onto the MC75. It's now down to 42. Chad comes in, just get some ions on the hull in general. Not going to bother taking down that shield gen, but they can just get solid runs on the hull with a full morale bar. Shields are essentially drained. There they go on the MC75. Now we just begin to see a nuke of weak points, of hull in general. Trying to get down targeting before it's too late to get to help the the Raider on push.
This is a tight spot for HUTT Cartel. MC-75 is looking pretty rough there.
Oh yeah. Ooh, but Maticus getting ion and getting dunked out of the sky.
Completely destroyed.
With 10 left on the MC-75, they're in a position to win this game. Can Chua just get a little more damage down on this beacon? M75 gets a beam out. Makes it connect, gets tractored. It's just complete chaos out here as they get the MC-75.
And there it goes.
Nice. As Tempest wins game number 3, going on to the semifinals today in the Calrissian Cup Summer Minor. Taking out HUTT Cartel on game number 3. Looking at the scoreboard, 31k capture damage on the Sheriff, 22 on Radiant, 8-2 on Stardude. But then on Tempest, Chua with 50k, 4-3, Ak with 1-2, 27 AI, and Maticus on Fostar. That's pretty impressive.
Oh boy. That was an intense match there. We saw... Would you have... so before this game, before the showing, would you have expected HUTT Cartel to be in that situation where Tempest completely, I don't want to say destroyed them, but they did quite some damage to Cartel over there.
I think that is an interesting faction choice to whoever counterpicked faction to that map, because as I kind of predicted, you don't want to play New Republic on Fostar due to your lack of ability to be able to swing back the game in your favor with defense, right? So you're letting that TIE bomber come in and just do DPS damage. But with that, we do see Tempest going on to the semifinals. I'm going to refresh my bracket here to see if I can give you any sort of update. 16-bit Imperial 2-0'd Remnant, pushing them on to the semifinals in their bracket. Cavern Angels Gold ended up 3-0ing Savrith, which means we're going to see Grey Squadron Tempest versus Cavern Angels Gold in the semifinals here. And then it looks like Randalorians and Fracture have not finished their set yet. At least they haven't updated Battlefy yet.
Okay. So Cavern Angels and Tempest, that is going to be a very intense match.
I want to look at the roster for CA Gold. We got Knight, Ham, Red, Eladrand, Ralph, Jish, and Palazzo. So it's a pretty standard CA Gold roster this tourney. And and of course we saw Tempest today. And solid stuff. Oh! Wait a minute. Did I speak too soon?
Oh. Standing on the tips of our toes here, waiting for the response and what's going on.
Oh, I have misspoke, folks. It's not a best of 3. Didn't mean to drag you guys into a world of lies. It's a best of 5. So actually, we have more opportunities for HUTT to be able to take this back. They gotta win
really?
They got to win 2 in a row, mind you.
Okay.
But it's not over till it's over.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what they're going to be doing in terms of setup, in terms of faction choice, maps, and all that stuff. I wonder what they're going to be deciding on.
That might make more sense than in giving Fostar the way they did if they knew it was going to be possibly dragged out. I think. But
okay.
I guess we'll see how it goes as they're setting up the lobby for game number 4. Looks like the map is going to be Yavin.
Yavin. Good old Yavin there.
Yavin? Oh, don't you know.
Oh, good old Yavin. This, personally, man, Yavin's my fave. Yavin is the great equalizer.
It is
as I like to call it.
No items, final destination, Fox only, slugfest.
Final destination for Squadrons is Yavin. A great location for skill versus skill. If you need to basically reset the match, you go to Yavin.
Yes.
And depending on if you are the better skilled pilot, it could be very good for you or it could be very bad for you. And if you are working as a team, it's very important for Yavin because you have nothing else to hide behind except for your team. So you need to go in with the right strategies, and the frigates and the Star Destroyer, the MC-75, do get very close to each other in this match. So back and forth is what you expect to see in Yavin.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So sorry about that, guys. There's a bit of a misspeak. Looks like, though, somebody in chat
even more entertainment.
Somebody in chat did mention Randos did win 3-1 in their series, pushing them back into the semifinals here. So it'll be Randos versus 16-bit. We'll see that in a bit. And CA Gold against whoever is going to win this best of 5. Again, HUTT, if they win 2 games in a row, are going to be positioning themselves for that. But again, if Tempest, Yavin depends on the faction here, and we'll find that out in a minute. Might be trying to get themselves in the semi as well. Of course, people want to win. I'm going to say they're not trying to get into the semis, but you know what I mean.
They're trying to play the strategy, getting the mind game. I think that's what we saw last match. There was with the faction choice. Try to have a little more fun in the game, not destroy everything, right? That's what that was, right?
We're here to have a little fun, folks. Get some A-Wings out, have a good time. Yeah.
Do we know the faction choices yet?
No.
We know the map choice.
We are hanging out until that's decided.
Okay.
But for now,
sitting on the edges of our seat here.
It's the Sunday Fun Day, the Monster Truck Rally of Squadrons. Again, thank you guys for joining. This is the Calrissian Cup, the Summer Minor. It looks like we have a $500 prize pool today. We have got post this. Let me go to the announcements to make sure I can give you guys the proper wordage here. Next month, July 17th and 18th, we're going to be having the Summer Major. It's going to be a $2,000 prize pool. On August 14th and 15th, we're going to have the Fall Minor with a $400 prize pool. I believe that might have changed. That might be 500 as well. September 18th and 19th is going to be the Fall Major. And October 2nd and 3rd is going to be the championship, a $5,000 prize pool. And as a quick refresher, guys, how that works is points are accumulated during these minor events and these major events in this Calrissian Cup League in the series of sorts to give you entry into the championship. And so far, looking at the point board, Splinter's up there. The teams that you would expect to be up there. But never say never. Teams are changing by the month.
This is true. Just because we come to know one team by these certain players doesn't mean that we will see them again in the same form the next time they're introduced into one of our tournaments.
Looks like lobby is up, getting my obs in here so we can tell you what's going on. Looks like Tempest is going to be Empire on Yavin. We'll see how that plays out. Again, originally I would say Yavin's pretty Empire-centric, but it does allow for the New Republic to get fast AI because it is the antithesis of Nadiri and Fostar, right? We just went from a map that has almost no AI, or not easy to find AI with tricky pathing and a lot of collisions of stuff, to a map that's got pretty open AI. Actually, hold on, there's a correction. HUTT's Empire.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Interesting here.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're getting themselves set up pretty well for 2-2, right? Is that the score? Or if HUTT CARTEL wins, that would be the victory, right?
Well, no. So Tempest is up 2-1. So if HUTT wins here, it's going to be a 2-2, going to get dragged into a game number 5. If Tempest wins, going to be a 3-1, getting them into the semifinals.
Okay. I was so thrown off by the the bracket switch here that we weren't aware of, or at least knew of. Didn't really pay attention, honestly. This is our problem. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what these teams, because when you're playing a best of 3, you're going to make different decisions than if you're playing a best of 5.
Yes.
You have to value the speed and basically the aggression, because you have to get those games quicker than playing the long game of best of 5.
It's depending on how you want to play out your map picks, right? You can save your easy wins for if you're more fatigued, right? If you're getting dragged into a game number 5, you can save your stronger map picks for then. Yeah, and we might be seeing that with Yavin, right? With Tempest on the New Republic, again, they don't have the advantage of the boost shunt boost that the Empire does to be able to get on field and be able to get down the ions on the on the fighters and the bombers. But like I said before, the 5 AI stacks everywhere does influence how fast the New Republic can get that flip, because the ICT does shut down any sort of counter AI aggro from the Empire. Looking at these loadouts, though, we do see Liven on support, the 2 defenders, 1 fighter, and 1 bomber. The fighter probably has ions, if we were to see it. My game is still loading. Yep, ion missile and repair. That makes sense, right? To my point earlier, the boost shunt boosting, where you have a full boost tank, you end up boosting out, and then you reshunt and boost again, allows for Stardude, specifically in the fighter, to be able to get out and get ions down on the frigate cruisers a lot quicker than if they were playing a defender, right? So what might be playing here is they might be looking for a quick Corvette burn, winning that flip from a Corvette burn and 2 player kills, and then immediately flying into one of the Nebulon Bs to immediately tank it. Meanwhile, on Tempest, you got yourself a Squadron Mass Target Beacon Ion Cannon on Trev, 2 X's, 2 Y's, Plasburst Ion on Chad, Burst Ion on Ek, and with the 2 Y-Wings, both with Goliath Multilock, no ICT coming out on the New Republic this game. And on the Empire on HUTT, you got Standard Laser, you got Burst Cannon, Ion Missile Rockets. Those are the two defenders. Ion Conch on Spoonie. Yeah, we'll see how it plays again. Yavin, beautiful map. The clouds do give natural invis if you fly into them. Of course, they do damage you. There is a up and a down to that.
Mm-hmm. I always get confused which direction is up and which direction's down when I'm in the clouds, so I usually try to stay away from them.
It's like a. I know we mentioned Xavian before getting banned, but one of my banes of existence on Xavian is flying into those clouds and just getting completely confused. In VR, there was an issue when the game launched where there's a lot of bloom. I don't know if anybody here can remember that. It was a while ago, though it wasn't really in terms of like real time, but in game time, that was forever ago. And the clouds were so intense on Xavian. Fly into them, you don't know where you are, then you die.
Exactly.
As we begin this game,
here we go.
Again, a best of 5. Tempest in the position to get one more win to be able to get into the semifinals. But of course, HUTT going to fight tooth and nail to not let that happen, trying to get a second win so they can drag us into a game number 5. Looking at these teams, though, getting in position, we do see Heller finding an AI stack, targeting them. Same as Maticus getting in position. Ooh, looks like it was right. Stardude was flying in to get that Ion out. Flying in immediately before 1 minute and 30 seconds to get that Ion out on that Corvette. Morale still at half and half. But Tempest able to get a 5-stack with a Goliath and a player kill on Liven does give them the flip immediately in New Republic. Chad trying to get a pick on this bomber on the Sheriff. Cannot get eyes on target, however. Gets Ioned. Might get dunked out of the sky. 3714 does die on being in the phase, but X coming in here with some Ion missiles, or Ion rockets to take down Charlie. Shields to a little above half. Not getting aggroed, though. We'll have another chance to run here, as we are seeing. More Ions are coming out. Matic is coming in as well to drain down these shields as a big family. Shields have been drained on Charlie. Morale sits rather stagnant. Let's see. I want to go over to... Masks are out on the team. Cooldown is currently happening for both the Mask and the Beacon for Tempest. So they cannot beacon these cruisers. Ooh, a player kill does happen. Heller down. Maticus almost back up. Stardude down as well, a 4v5. They're going for a 1 Raider burn, however, trying to get us down as low as possible to either out of phase or, depending on how they're feeling, knock it down, then immediately go for Delta and get Delta ready for an out of phase.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have to be a gut call here because the morale is falling quickly. They might not have a choice. They definitely don't have a choice now. They have to get down Charlie to a point where it's out of phaseable. It's now below the 15% sweet spot to where it's easily out of phaseable. And the flip does happen. Some Ions are going out on Delta from Chad, but Chad does get nuked out of the sky, falling in that moment. We do see that the cruiser getting knocked out of the sky, however, out of phase, shortening HUTT Cartel's offensive phase. Solid stuff. Let's see how they play it out. Again, with Stardude in that TIE Fighter, I want to see where these Ions are. They're going to come out and get some damage down. Or they're going to just go pure rotary. They're going pure rotary onto Delta.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh. Sheriff getting Ion, but not getting punished for said Ion. Able to fly around, boost drift back onto target, getting that rotary out, coming back into those lasers. Getting beaconed, however, no countermeasures. 51% hull remaining. All Oxes are on cooldown. But that ain't going to stop the pure DPS damage. That is the TIE Bomber. Again, Delta, no shield. Charlie around half shields. The morale is very much in HUTT's favor currently. Yeah, let's see how they play this out.
Ooh.
Stardude pretty weak in here, trying to get a pick on Trev to stop these constant beacons and masks. At 57 hull, no shields left. Trev is able to get out, but so does Stardude. Looking very weak out here. Oh, it does get picked out of the sky. Delta very weak. Delta definitely out of phaseable now for HUTT Cartel to be able to reverse that shortened offensive phase and shorten the next offensive phase for Tempest. Shield have been drained on Charlie as well. We will see a rotation from somebody on HUTT Cartel. Looks like it's going to be possibly Spoony Toe coming into that 6 health Nebulon B. Dunking it out of the sky, standard lasering it until it is gone at 2, at 1. It does fall. 15 points do go back to HUTT Cartel, shortening Tempest's offensive phase here on Delta. But Delta very much easily destroyable this phase, as they're going to have their Corvette, or their Raider, and the whole team just doing raw DPS. Chad trying to get a pick on the Sheriff. Again, eyes cannot get on target, as Heller's just dumping into the bottom of the cruiser. Maticus Rex is also out there as well, trying to just get some burst cannons down on that cruiser as quickly as possible. The morale's at half and half, but the team is out there like hornets on my front door yesterday, all out there just trying to cause mayhem. Corvette is still up. AI are being found. To get short phases are the norm on Yavin. All 5 AI just fly around quite cleanly. Delta, though, looking super tasty. They're going to save it, I believe, for an out of phase, as it is at 2-1. No, they're going to commit to it as they have a short ISD assault
very nice.
here. Going to see if they can capitalize on the pressure. Sheriff very weak. Spoony pretty weak in that defender. We do see Ek coming in, though, flying around this ISD, maybe going for a power nuke. Lining up position, gets in, gets the ion out, destroys power on flip, making 5 weak points, but will most likely get DPS out of the sky from this Imperial Star Destroyer, or not, flying rather evasively, getting straight out, losing a lot of shields, but not losing his life. Solid play, solid ion dunk of Ekfire there. Clean flying. Meanwhile, HUTT coming in with those with the TIE Bomber, TIE Defenders, and Fighter, wanting to get down Charlie as quickly as possible to get the M75 just completely nuked, toasted. I think that was a solid play from Tempest. They were able to come in, knock down a subsystem with almost no morale in their favor. That was a gamble they played nicely.
They did. Hopefully it pays off for them in the long run, but it was a good situation to put themselves in, as HUTT Cartel is still trying to get down C, which they just do.
Nice. As that frigate is down, the MC-75 assault begins. Now we will see how they will do with nuking these subsystems. They're all in there. The damage is coming down. Right shield does fall. Left shield has a little bit of damage on it. They just need to get somebody in there to get damage on. It's down to 87 hull. Sheriff rotating. We do see Radiant Prime in there getting the left shield destroyed as well. 2 subs down on the MC-75. Can they knock down targeting before the flip? Looks like they're going for it. Targeting is down to 22. 8. A little more laser and it'll come down at 4. Targeting does fall. 3 systems down on the MC-75. The morale is holding on by a hair for HUTT Cartel. Will they knock out power? The flip is there. Most of the team on HUTT Cartel is going back to base to prepare for a defense. They still have their shields, but of course Tempest knocking out power in that last phase is probably going to be going for a fast disable of both shields, because the weak points have been made. All 5 have been made.
Such a good decision for Tempest there.
They're positioning themselves to have a solid 1 phase on this Imperial Star Destroyer. Here comes in the team straight out of the MC-75. Heller in the Y-Wing. Maticus.
They pretty much have to take it most of, if not the full way, or at least get an out of phaseable.
Yes. We do see them trying to thin the herd on approach. However, Stardude with 40 in that TIE Fighter. Precursor Trad trying to get eyes on target. He's down to 14. Ions coming out. Beam's coming out. The beam knocks it out of the sky. There goes that left shield gen. All that's left is right. Gets under the sloop, starts ioning it down. 1 shield has been destroyed. 1 shield has been disabled. Now it's going to be
doing a good job of getting those.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ek has a bit of bonk. Can't get that weak point. Can't confirm it. It is destroyed. but a bit of a reposition out there. Finds another weak point as well. X just doing damage this game. Going to get behind the engines, look for more weak points on the bottom. There is the flip. It is out of phaseable. They might have to engine park. Again, a decision was made here. Only one shield has been knocked out of the sky. Once that shield comes back up, it's going to be a hard spot to be in. They want to get down damage. It's now down to 17. That shield is still disabled on the ISD. I will tell you guys when it is back up. Trying to get down the Star Destroyer before it's too late. It is one weak point away, but of course all weak points have been nuked. The shield is back up on the Imperial Star Destroyer. Not in a good spot for Team Tempest. Meanwhile, the MC-75 is falling by the second. ISD now down to 12.
This is
but
such
we might see a
rough...
repeat. Chad dying. They cannot get in there. Oh no. Meanwhile, on that MC-75, the Sheriff is out there getting it down. They do drain it.
HUTT Cartel.
Taking game number 4, pushing us into a 5-game of best of 5. Yeah. Again, we do see another situation going on here. A choice had to be made, and that choice was destroying one shield gen, disabling the other, but caught them 2 times in a row where they go back on defense, and they just cannot get the damage down because that shield comes back up, allowing HUTT Cartel to take another win off of their shoulder. 70k capture damage on the Sheriff, 45 on Maticus, just 41 AI on Maticus, but just not able to confirm that damage on that ISD because the shield comes back up.
They were very close. If they had planned it to where they could have got that second shield down instead of just disabled, I think they would have been in the perfect situation to take it out of phase. But just because of that one decision, they weren't able to bring it all the way and pull out that victory. So now we're going into game 5 here. What are your thoughts so far on what we've been seeing, and what do you expect to see as we go into the final game for both of these teams?
I would like to, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I would like to see when the team is down and about to, at the 33-25% morale, a rotation to getting down that other shield gen to allow out of phasing and parking to happen. Denying getting that second shield ends up trying to crush damage into a small window of time that for the second time now has not worked in Tempest's favor. They've almost squeaked it out, but they just aren't confirming that shield gen.
Yeah. They're taking the steps. The first game they just disabled both of the shields. They weren't able to take it. The second game they disabled one shield, took down the other shield. Maybe this is going to be the game where they take down both shields.
We will see. But it does allow HUTT a position to get into the semifinals. Now it's a 2-2. It all depends on the map pick, the faction pick, and how the teams will play it out. Right now we're just kind of, we're vibing, we're hanging out while the teams are getting the lobbies up.
Yes.
Hanging out. Again, how are you feeling today, Uplink? It's a good Sunday, a Sunday fun day here at the Calrissian Cup. $500 prize pool.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you been able to watch Mandalorian yet?
So, my update, I think it's the same as last time. I ended up watching the first episode. It was good. It was good. And then I started watching the second episode. But I have a projector instead of a TV.
Okay.
Because where I live, there's a nice, beautiful white wall that this place used to be. So where I'm renting out it used to be a photography studio. So all the walls are like photography paint. Super
white.
nice. So I use a projector. But of course, as the summer goes along, it gets. I can't start the watching TV till later and later. And because I'm a dingus and I go to bed at like 10 p.m. and wake up at like 5:36, I end up like not watching TV at all in the summer. So I haven't. I have not. So.
And then you obviously have a reason for not previously watching it. Like we're not going to get into that, but there's a reason for not previously watching it when you didn't have to, not watch it because of the daylight in the room.
I was lazy. I will admit it. I was just a lazy bum. Though how do I word it? Yeah, I got fatigued off of Star Wars media, I think. Coming off of Rise of Skywalker. And it was really Squadrons that brought me back into the Star Wars universe because, and I know everybody has opinions on the sequel trilogy, and I like it, I don't like it, but...
dangerous territory.
Yeah, dangerous territory. I will say I was fatigued. Does not mean it was good or bad. I was fatigued because, Disney's strategy of having a film every single year, it grates me on all IPs. I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Infinity War Part 1 because I just
Did you never finish? You never got to Endgame?
Nope. I got fatigued.
Whoa!
I got fatigued on the Marvel universe. I still am. I know it's been years now, right? But just for me individually, too much exposure to too much constant exposure to a property makes me kind of like go, I want new experiences, please.
Yeah.
So The Mandalorian came out in a time, and I get it. It was Filoni coming out with his expansion and of the Star Wars universe in this like post Legends era, right? But it was just the timing was wrong. I'll go back and watch it, of course. I need to, because otherwise I'll be reminded by many people of I need to watch it, including my parents. So like my dad is a huge Star Wars fan. He shout out to my dad. He won second place at Star Wars 2005 celebration for his back tattoo. Like I've grown up in a very Star Wars centric house, right?
You've been entrenched.
That's why I had a bunch of Star Wars crap as a kid, because my dad had it. Because my dad would go out and like.
He didn't get it for you. He got it for him, and then you happened to play it.
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff that my dad bought, it's still in boxes in like the garage and in the basement. Like the toys from the 90s and the 80s and such. But occasionally, my dad, being a dad, right, would open one and let me play with it. So that was my experience. That's why I had like the B-wing and the Y-wing as a kid. Those were collectibles my dad had gotten. But then I think I probably just complained and I was like, Dad, I want to play with the toys that are in the boxes, please.
That one's awesome. Okay. That's understandable. There is a lot of Star Wars, and I think that's something that we're all concerned about is Star Wars historically hasn't been a huge...
it's been like a slow burn, right?
Yeah, it's been, 1977 to 1980 to 1983, right? So it was like every 3 years we got one. And then
nothing for a long time besides
long time of nothing, and the fandom was still quite strong. And then we got the prequels, and those came out every 2 years? Is that right?
Yeah, that was I don't know. I was a kid, right? I watched episode 1 when I was very, very little, like 4 or 5, and I liked Jar Jar a lot because he was funny. And he made funny noises. I was the target audience. Hot take.
Yeah.
Jar Jar's funny to a kid. And then the other 2 came out when I was like in like elementary school, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, so I think it's about every 2 years or so. I'm not sure though, but it was not every single year.
Yeah,
and with Solo we got one, and then 6 months later we got Solo, and I think that really hurt that definitely hurt the showings for Star Wars, and I think a lot of people, yourself included, got burnt out. So it's understandable, and I just one day we'll be able to talk Mando. One day.
Oh yeah. There's the little Yoda baby.
There's green
the guy with the Mandalorian armor, and then there's a robot, and he shoots in his how he did like shot around in a circle, and that's and then there's like a scene, and I'm again a bad Star Wars fan.
Remember Star Wars? Wars, stars, all that stuff.
Yeah, like the pre-show. Yeah, Spock, he was in the fight. It was intense.
It was so
I love
crazy.
Star Wars. Yeah, whoa. Man. And the way that he flew.
May the Force be with you.
Yeah,
all that
always.
jazz.
You know, Star Wars.
Yeah, it's so one time I was up to date with all of the Star Wars books.
Yeah. Really?
And I was like, books? I'm gonna the ones at the time. It was 2016. It was 2016. So they were just starting to ramp out the printing machine.
The new canon. Okay,
yeah,
not like
the new stuff.
I read every book from the 80s to now.
No, I didn't do that. I don't think I will ever do that. It's just so unfeasible.
You don't want to see Chewie get like knocked out by a moon or something. I'm gonna get railed by the chat. Sorry, hold on. I gotta read how that happened. My dad. Okay, so back to explanations. My dad, big Star Wars fan, right? We had all the books as a kid. All the old 80s books and stuff. So like I would read through them, and Chewbacca got killed by a moon, right? My dad told me about this.
He did get killed. I remember the story of they needed to kill someone off, and then they talked to George Lucas, and they're like, "Hey, these are the characters that we've got. Who should we kill?" And he was like, "Chewbacca."
Yeah, he ends up dying when the moon falls on top of him, dude. Nice. Well, not nice because deaths are sad, but like that's what a way to die. Man,
yeah, go out with style, man.
Yoda baby, I cry. Chat, I know it's. I don't know his name. I mean, it comes up in like chat, but I try not to read spoilers because I don't want to be spoiled on the show. You know, what's nice is you get to see you have the knowledge, and I get to be what you guys were like a year and a half ago. You know. Yeah.
Don't ruin the joy that Hammer will experience when he, at some point in the future, many years later, when Disney Plus is no longer a thing and he's scrounging around for Blu-rays of it.
I hope they're
the apocalypse is happening all around. He's like, finally. Finally, I'll be able to watch.
The internet collapses and we only have intranets left.
Exactly. You'll have to find Pirate Bay you'll have to find the servers like decomposing for Pirate Bay and scrounge through there, get a CRT TV through a series of dongles, and eventually you'll be able to watch it.
It's out of camera, but I do have my CRT in the corner. I was vibing with Pokemon Stadium 2 the other day.
Nice.
Yeah, always a favorite of mine. These loadouts, though. Speaking of favorites, let's see how these teams are doing. One of my favorite games is this game. On Team Tempest, we got ourselves the Bombers, Achua with Ion Bomb and Multi-Lock Missile, and Maticus with Goliath Multi-Lock. Trev with the support with Supply Droid Targeting Beacon with the two defenders, Ek Pirate and Precursor Chad with Plasburst, Ion Missile APS on Chad, and Burst APS Ion on the other defender and on the New Republic. Well, I've got 31 seconds left to go. Can I update my game here? We've got ourselves two X's, a Y, and an A. Started again on the A with standard lasers and double dumbs, which is the Ion Rockets and the Rockets. HUTT! Y-Wing with Multi-Lock Goliath, Rotary Cannon, Aliven on that support with Supply Droid and Targeting Beacon on New Republic, and the two X's, Ion Missile Rocket, Burst Cannon, and Burst Cannon Ion Conch. The map is Nadiri Dockyards Interdasting. Nadiri, the map with no AI, the map that almost everything gets decided in the first, 2 minutes. It's a 2v2. It got dragged out to the last second, of course. Nadiri shows up at the end of your best of fives because nobody wants to pick it until the end.
Fine, we'll go to Nadiri Dockyards.
See how these teams play. Let's see. Just checking one thing here. Yeah. Waiting for this game to load in. Again, this is the Calrissian Cup Summer Minor $500 prize pool. This is the final game in the top 8. I believe every other best of 5 has resolved, meaning that I believe whoever wins this game is going to be going up against Cavern Angels Gold in the semifinals. Meanwhile, in the other semifinals, it's going to be 16-bit Imperial Guard versus the Randalorians. But that is then, and this is now. Let's see how these teams do play it out. Again, Nadiri Dockyards, everything gets decided in the first 2 minutes. It's the salt. It's the sweat. Let's see if they can do their best.
Okay, we're launching in. Also, one of my favorite colors for the ships there, the pink. I love the pink.
Yes. Pink and Rust, the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff coming in that Y-Wing trying to get a solid pack of AI. Gets that Goliath off, gets the 5-stack, gets Ion, however. Not punished for it. That's huge for HUTT Cartel as they get a player kill on Ekpirate and a 5-stack of AI. If they can get a few more player kills, if the Sheriff can get another 5-stack of AI. But again, never say never, where the morale goes back to half and half. Everything gets decided here and now. Finding another stack, getting that multi-lock off. 5 more go back to HUTT Cartel. A few more player kills, a Raider burn, anything. Where's that damage? Trev getting knocked out of the sky. A player kill that Tempest does not want to see. Can they pull it back, or is this going to go towards HUTT? Another stack of 5, and this will go towards HUTT Cartel. We do see Corvette. They're not going for a Corvette. Burn Shield are still up. They're trying to get pure AI and player kills. Chaff is out on somebody. We just saw that out there. TIE fighters getting knocked out of the sky. The AI are just dying. One more AI as a player kill does come down on Chad. 2 more now because of the counter AI push, and HUTT Cartel on the New Republic gets that opening flip.
Very nice.
Fury, which again,
just chilling out right there.
Strong opener. And the opener means a lot on Nadiri. Let's see how they play this out. Again, here comes in the players. I want to see who has Ion and where they're going. Lemmy coming in to get some damage on Ekpirate. Meanwhile, Spoonie getting some damage on shields. They have knocked down Delta entirely, shield-wise, not hull-wise. C still sits pretty strong out there. But like I said with the non-AI of Nadiri, you're not going to see that morale bar move that often. You're going to see packs of 2 or 3 AI, and you're going to see the Corvette 20 points and the occasional player kill. It's definitely a tough map, very counter to the way most maps play, due to its structure and the fact that AI pathing ends up killing itself much of the time. As he just begins to fall, begins to get burned, they might not even save it for an out of phase because of how much morale they have right now. They might just go for a hard burn, take that down, take down Charlie, and then have a one-phase push into the flagship. But never say never, players could die. They could try to bring this back. Delta very weak. They are going to save it just in case. Play conservatively. It's knocked out of the sky anyway. Knocking down the shields on Charlie. They begin their push. An Ion does come out on Spoonie, losing all shields. Getting punished for it. Does fall. Spoonie down, live and down. Lemming still alive, getting some X-Wing damage down on this cruiser. Again, Delta still out of phaseable. Charlie, hopefully, well, for HUTT's favor, can they get down Charlie to a nice out of phaseable, or will Lemming die, causing the points to go back towards Tempest? It does flip. They get down that Corvette, and it goes back to defense. But of course, Delta out of phaseable is going to be quite a thorn in Tempest's side, as that's 15 points that they do not want to have to fight against, as it's impossible to get morale or hold morale regardless on this map. We do see Spoonie coming in to finish off that cruiser. It's now down to 1. It does fall. 15 points do go back towards HUTT on this defense. Meanwhile, we do see Chua coming in, getting some damage down. A resupply does come out, so we can get more ion bombs. Does have a bit of a bonk, a bit of a struggle bus, gets the rotary out, starts dumping into Delta. All ion bombs did connect, all 5 that he had, or 10 that he had per se. Solid stuff. It has been beaconed. It looks like Delta's just getting nuked into by the whole team as hard as possible. At 24 hull though, Chua has to peel or commit, decide to give up those 10 points, wait for a possible resupply off of Trev. The resupply is coming. It does hit. Trev getting ioned though in the process, and nuked out of the sky to get that resupply back towards Chua. Will Chua make it worthwhile, as it is down to 2. 1, the Nebula does fall. They take down Charlie. Now they'll try to take down Delta. Delta shields are still up, mind you. And the morale's at half and half, as they do lose their Raider. Again, this game is a 2-2 best of 5. We're in the 5th game here.
This is the deciding game.
Directly to semifinals. It is neck and neck. Morale is being drained out of Tempest's favor, as HUTT Cartel is able to find points where they can. Matic is down, Precursor Chad fell, Ekpirate falls as well. 2 more AI. If Chua knocks out here at 19 all, it'll flip back. If they can find 1 AI, it'll flip as well. The resupply comes out on Chua though, saying you're not going to at least get flipped here. Able to tank a lot of that DPS in the face during that resupply. But the flip does happen. The AI were found. Trying to get a joust on Stardew, does get that joust baited out, gets that AI or the A-Wing out of the sky. 15 points do go back towards Tempest on this defense. So solid reset. So what we're gonna see, right, is HUTT comes in, takes down Delta, and it all comes down to how well the flagship defense is here, because if they don't get down any subsystems, it puts Tempest in a really good spot to have a really good push. It all depends on how this next flagship push goes. Ooh, we do see, again, constant damage coming out on Liven. Delta just getting drained and nuked. More burst coming out from Liven and Spoonie out here, both getting burst cannons down.
HUTT Cartel's doing a fantastic job of putting on the heat.
Yeah, because it's draining. There it goes. It has been drained. Morale's at half and half. The ISD push begins now. Liven looking to go for a shield gen. Getting into the shields at the front of the ISD, under the shields, begins a push, finds a shield gen, starts burst cannoning into it at 74 hull.
Very nice.
Himself at 73. Will begin to try to get a bow tie to get in there, gets more burst cannon down. Not dying, this is huge. Will possibly be able to get this. Sorry,
going in for another
run
here.
One of my observers crashed.
Spoonie goes down.
Left shield does
still
fall though.
trying to get there.
Liven trying to take on both shield gens do fall on the Imperial Star Destroyer. Will they get targeting as well? Targeting starts to get pumped into by Liven, getting tractor beamed though. That'll be 10 points. It'll cause a flip. There's the flip as HUTT Sheriff does fall. The targeting is now down to 20, but Liven getting ioned and knocked out of the sky will not be able to confirm it. Not a good spot to be. Well, Tempest now has to knock down B and essentially one phase, because the ISD's lost both shields. So they'll come back up with their Corvette and they'll just do a lot of damage. So can Tempest one phase this MC-75 on knocking out B? Again, the morale is very much held, obviously, as the flip does happen here. See how this team plays it out. Again, Maticus in here with Rotary knocking down Charlie. Will most likely be repositioning. There we go. The M75 push is now. Maticus flying in with 60% boost tank. Not enough to really boost Sean. Does find aggro as somebody on HUTT has found him. Livin did find him. Tries to fly around to get one of these shields. Just has to. Oh no, gets tractor beamed and gets ioned. Maticus getting dunked. Ray shield does immediately fall though on the ship.
It's a tough spot to be. They lost a bit of morale there, and they need to stay alive, pretty much. Stay alive, do damage. Okay, here, let's see.
Sheila flying around trying to get that second shield. And actually targeting. Let's see if they can do it. Does die. It's a death city out here. The left shield has been disabled, mind you. Power does fall, but they might not be able to find those weak points in time to get that hull damage down before it's too late. Shrev getting some damage on him. No shield left, being ioned, going to get dunked out of the sky. 10 more points back towards HUTT Cartel's favor. Ek trying to get some burst cannons down. The M75 is at 49-42. It had been beaconed. The one shield does come back up, however, and the flip does happen. Again, I don't know how many weak points are left on this MC75. Ooh, an ion duck does happen. I don't think that is... Well, that's out of feasible, but again, that shield gen is up. They might be forced on defense here unless they have some piercings to knock that shield gen out, but that shield gen's at full health. Looking at the mini-map, they are going back for a... they are trying to get in there as deep into the field as they can for potential out of phase. But again, with that shield up, that's going to be quite a challenge, as HUTT's going to be able to come into an ISD and do some damage.
It's a tough spot for Tempest to be in right now.
Oh yeah, Maticus out there on the MC-75, Ekpirate out there, but then dies. Chua looks like he's trying to get into that. MC-75's at 20, but again, has shields. Oxes are going out to just take down the shield gens. But the ISD is about to fall at any second out here.
Taken on by a thread right now.
CARTEL taking game number 5.
Oh boy.
Pushing them into the semifinals. Again, third time in a row. Tempest knocking down one shield gen, disabling the other, but not knocking down that second shield gen to be able to out of phase. Struggling to get down any damage on that capital ship. Pushing towards a base race that just wasn't going to be there. Maticus with 54k cap ship damage, 22 AI. Chua with 218 AI, 30k. Ekpirate with 434k cap ship damage. HUTT with 54k, 24 AI. You know, 50k cap ship damage on Spoony. With that, though, we do see HUTT CARTEL going to the semifinals.
Moving
where
on
they're going to be
into the bracket here.
They're going to be facing Cavern Angels Gold.
That's an intense match.
It is.
Let's see the bracket here. Looking pretty good. I think now we're going to head to a break, and we'll be back with the next match.
Yeah.